We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Grant. So Grant's in New Zealand, so that's exciting. There's no hurricanes there. So they had earthquakes not too long ago, though, so it doesn't have to be disaster relief podcast today, but whatever. Grant's theater room is 13.5 feet wide by 21 feet long, with a bit of an extra alcove in the rear left corner. He's installed 2 rows of seats. There's 3 feet of space behind the second row, and then the alcove adds some more space beyond that, but obviously only on that one side. He initially set up for a 7.2.4 configuration. The alcove at the back and the windows on the right led him to putting a surround and surround back speakers on stands, but he found that people would occasionally trip over or bump into the stand-mounted speakers, so he needed to move them from time to time, which became a bit of a hassle. Decided to wall mount them instead. The surround speakers ended up a bit farther back than he would like, but he's been happy with the sound. There's really only one logical place for a single surround back speaker, though, so he reduced the speaker count to 6.2.4 configuration. Sure. Makes perfect sense.
It does.
The Pioneer LX59 receiver allowed for this configuration, and for 7.1 Dolby True HD or DTS HD Master Audio, it works just fine. Those 2 surround back channels just get down mixed to a single surround back channel, but disappointingly, if he uses Atmos DTS X or the Dolby Surround Up Mixer or DTS Neural X, the single surround back speaker is completely silent. So he says, why? Do the new immersive audio formats demand 2 surround back speakers, or is this a limitation in the way his particular Pioneer receiver has implemented them? If I had to make a guess, I would guess it was because of the Pioneer, but I don't know that for sure.
Nope. It actually says in a lot of AV receiver manuals, the minimum speaker configuration to support Atmos, as well as the Dolby Surround Up Mixer to support DTS X, as well as the DTS Neural X Up Mixer, is 7 speakers. That is the minimum that you have to have, that any speakers beyond the traditional 5.1 must be added in pairs.
Oh, okay.
And that includes your surround back speakers. So you can't add a single overhead speaker somewhere. You can't add a single surround back speaker to an Atmos configuration. It is a limitation of the format. Anything beyond 5.1 must be added in pairs. So it's not your Pioneer's fault. It's a limitation of Atmos. If you want surround backs, you got to have 2.
If there's no way to get immersive audio working with just one surround back speaker, should he simply stick with 5.2.4, or should he consider a speaker like the SVS Ultra Surround that can accept 2 speaker wire inputs and be used as a dual mono speaker in a single cabinet? Well, I mean, there's no reason that you can't co-locate 2 speakers. That's almost exactly what THX recommends. If you already have 2 of them,
which he does, because he already had 7.2.4 going before, so he already owns the speakers.
I would just put 2 of them right next to each other. I wouldn't buy a new speaker for this. In fact, my surround back speakers are in a very similar situation. I would have put just one back there if I had. I mean, I could have just put one back there, but I already had 2 speaker wires run, and they are not 3 feet apart. they are maybe 2.5 feet apart. They are very, very close to each other. So the tweeters are probably 3 feet apart from each other.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's what I would do. I mean, you've already got the speakers.
He's using these Q acoustic speakers, which are nice and compact and definitely wall mountable. And we can see that at the back of his room, he does have this alcove in the rear left corner. So the portion of the wall that is in front of that alcove comes right up over to about the middle of the room. So it's like right behind his middle seats. So he's like, okay, it makes sense to have a single surround back speaker there. Doesn't totally makes sense to have 2, but since he wants surround backs in an Atmos configuration and you do need the 2 speakers and you already have 2 Q acoustic speakers on hand, I'm like, you just mount them both to that central piece of wall. And there you go. Yes, they're very close together, but that's okay. In your receiver, you have the option of saying that your speakers are within a foot of each other, 2 to 3 feet apart, or more than 3 feet apart. And you simply say they're within a foot of each other. That's where they are. And that's okay.
So he says he's using Q acoustic speakers and JBL in-ceiling speakers. Are there any other dual mono speakers similar to the SVS Ultra Surround that would better match? Like we said, I think we just stick with what you got.
Yeah.
I actually went looking for it. RBH used to make a speaker that did this too.
That's right.
I could not find the exact model number.
Yeah.
But it's quite. I mean, RBH speakers tend to be quite large, and I don't remember if they made a more compact version of it. So that would be an option, but you would have to find it. I mean, it would be used. I don't know if you would even be able to find it, but that is an option. You could always call them.
Yeah, the ones I knew, Revel's Concerta S12 did this, but that's a discontinued model because they're now on the Concerta 2 series and they don't have an equivalent model to that. Focal's Electra SR1000BE could do it, but it's a really expensive speaker.
Is that a beryllium tweeter in there?
That's 2 beryllium tweeters in there.
You could just redo all your speakers if you're going to buy that
massive overkill. So out of all the ones that we've talked about, the only one we know that you can still get today is that SVS Ultra Surround. But we both agree you've already got the Q acoustic speakers on hand. Just mount both of them. I know it might look a little bit odd, but it
makes you feel better. You could build yourself a little box of speaker cloth and just put it around there.
Yeah, or you can put a little frame. Instead of like mounting them directly, you could put a little shelf on that back section of wall and just sit both speakers on that little shelf. Yeah. Something like that.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of argument, could he feed both surround back channels into a single regular speaker?
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That would be a bad idea. Yeah. No, you don't want to do that, dude. You can't if you put the 2 speaker wires into the same thing, the amp channels are basically connecting the amp channels.
That's a short out.
Yeah. That you will very quickly discover that was a bad idea.
Yeah. So. But just imagine, say, taking your front left and right speakers and taking the 2 black leads, the black lead from the left and the black lead from the right, and twisting them together.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what you would be doing in this instance. So yeah, don't do that.
I don't know why I always start these podcasts by sitting on a foot, but I can't feel it
Trying to look taller.
No, I guess so. Yes. Have you been reading my Facebook? I've been complaining about how tall my son has gotten. He's taller than me. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.